Fox News Alert, a live look at the big map as the race to 270 continues, with Joe Biden holding 264 at this hour, Donald Trump at 214. A win in any of the key battlegrounds left would put Joe Biden over the top. As we know, President Trump would have to run the board to reach that 270 mark. Shawn is joining us live on the ground in Philadelphia. And as I put this state up on the map, Eric, I want to point out a couple key counties that we're watching at this hour. As we now know, Joe Biden is leading in the state by 0.1 percentage points. This change just happened top of the hour. The difference with 98% of the vote in is 5,596 votes. We're watching Allegheny County, where we know that as of last check, there was about 36,000 ballots left to be counted there. In that county is solidly Joe Biden, 59% of the vote to Donald Trump's 40%. You go back out to the state, obviously a focus is Philadelphia County, 81% of the vote going to Joe Biden. There's still many votes, tens of thousands of votes yet to be counted in that county. Watching this state very closely, that is where we find you this morning, Eric. What is the latest that you can tell us ahead of hearing from those officials on the ground there about 1 hour from now?
Yeah, Sandra, the latest here is despite all the noise and the accusations on the outside and the building behind me, the Philadelphia Convention Center, the work of counting this race meticulously and methodically is continuing vote by vote as the workers are doing the work that they are tasked for, the election poll workers here in Pennsylvania. As part of Joe Biden's strength, he is, of course, Scranton Joe, having been born here, even though he moved to Delaware when he was young because his father got a job in Delaware. He was able to capitalize on those working class roots, being a Pennsylvania-born a native son, and really reach out to not just the working class, but the middle class and those suburban voters. The massive tilt, 80% plus in Philadelphia County, which is the city of Philadelphia, also not reflected to that level, but reflected strongly in what they call the collar counties, such as Montgomery, right around the Philadelphia suburbs, those also going toward Biden clearly. As for the count here and the allegations of fraud, we have not seen any evidence of any type of massive fraud or, in fact, any report at the moment. There could be some problems, I'm told, with 30 ballots in one county. We'll wait to confirm what type of situation that is. But it is, Sandra, I think, as we reflect on this, a remarkable personal American story for Joseph Biden. Just think about it. 77 years old. He tried for the presidency twice before. Youngest senator ever elected from Delaware. His wife and daughter killed in a car crash. He had to persevere through that, stay in the Senate through decades, through the death of his beloved son, Beau. I saw Mr. Biden in 2016 at the commencement at Colby College in Maine, where he gave a very emotional, personal, stirring address to the young graduates there. And, you know, after college graduations, you go to the tent. It's a couple hours later, and you have lunch, and you come back. And up on the hill, there was a crowd around two black SUVs, and the reporter in me looked at that and said, "It's him. He's there." And I walked up, and sure enough, Joe Biden stayed at the Colby College commencement for 2.5 hours afterwards, standing on the lawn, talking to about 30 people, hugging people when they talked about Beau. And I sat there looking at that thinking, he's running. Beau Biden tried to have him promise that he would run. He did not think the last time was the time because of Hillary Clinton's juggernaut and huge lead, as well as money, so he begged off last time. This time he did not, and he may come up with success. Finally, the city commissioners here were waiting for the news conference to update the numbers. 50,000 ballots still to remain to be counted. We expect about 20,000 to come in. And let me explain something that's very important. Our viewers at home have heard about these massive tranches of votes that suddenly appear for Joe Biden. Well, that's not true. The fact is that they count votes, and they continue that, and then they decide 4 times a day to release the numbers. The officials strongly say here that there is no election fraud. They refute and reject all of the allegations from the President of the United States and his campaign concerning any possible nefarious actions here. They say that is not true at all as they continue, they say, to fairly and honestly count the votes. We expect that update in the next hour, and the commissioners have said that they will likely have a result here completely later on today.
And Eric,
back to you in the studio.
Eric, of course, looking at Philadelphia County, waiting on the additional votes there. You're reminded of the 75,000 absentee ballots. Obviously, that is adding to the confusion.